Hi everyone, how are you doing? So today we're going to continue the read aloud about this book here, which is called The Seventh Most Important Thing. And we're going to continue on chapter 18. And I would like you to grab paper and pencil. You can pause the video if you need to go grab paper and pencil because you're going to take notes and some questions, okay? So let's start. Arthur got 2 weeks off from his probation for Christmas. Of course, he still had 112 more hours to serve, so it wasn't really a gift or anything. Officer Billie gave him the news. He wasn't expecting her visit. In fact, when Arthur looked out the window and saw a cop car pulling into their driveway late on Monday afternoon, his first panicked thought was that something bad had happened to his mom and Barbara. They'd gone shopping after school because Barbara needed new shoes and his mom needed a nice dress to wear for a big job interview that she had at a dentist's office on Wednesday. The dentist was looking for a full-time receptionist. If his mom got the job, it would mean she could quit her 2 lousy part-time waitressing ones. Arthur was trying not to hope too much, but he really wanted her to get it. When Officer Billie stepped out of the car, Arthur released the shaky breath he'd been holding. At least he knew that everything was okay with his mom and Barbara, even if it probably wasn't okay for him. The officer was carrying something as she came up to the front door. From a distance, Arthur couldn't tell what it was, but it looked like some type of round container. He figured it was from the junkman, returning something else he didn't like. As he fumbled to open the door for Officer Billie, Arthur wished he weren't wearing the wrinkled jeans and undershirt he'd thrown on when he got home from school. He also hoped that he didn't have peanut butter on his teeth from the sandwich he'd been eating. "May I come in for a minute, Mr. Owens?" Officer Billie said in her official cop voice when he finally got the door open. "Sure, okay, yes," Arthur said in a rush, stumbling backward to let her in. As the officer stepped inside and took off her cap, Arthur glanced around nervously, worrying what she might notice. The collection of dirty glasses on the coffee table? Barbara paper dolls strewn all over the living room? The misshapen Christmas tree? Or perhaps the stacks of unopened and unpaid bills drifting out of the bookshelves? "I have come on official and unofficial business," Officer Billie stated, remaining squarely in the middle of the hallway. So, now that she said she came on official and unofficial ways, official and unofficial business, I would like you to pause this video and try to guess, why do you think she came? What would be the official business and what would be the unofficial business? Write down your guess. Pause this video and write down your guess. Let's see now the answer. First, the official part. "I have not received any further complaints from Mr. Hampton. So I assume you followed his directions successfully on Saturday. Is that right, Mr. Owens?" Yes, ma'am. I guess so," Arthur replied carefully, wondering if the officer had any clue what directions were. "Well, I expect this will continue to be the case," Officer Billie said crisply. "However," she continued, "Mr. Hampton has informed me that he will be away for Christmas holiday, so he has requested that you be giving 2 weeks off from your probation. Your work with him will resume on the first Saturday in January. Is that clear?" Arthur nodded. "Here, I've written down the date for you, Saturday, January 4th. Officer Billie handed him a piece of paper. And now for the unofficial business. She held out a cookie tin with a rocking horse on the top. Every Christmas I make caramel corn for my kids. It's my specialty, she explained. Merry Christmas. Arthur had no idea how to reply. Officer Billie wasn't the kind of person you would expect to get a gift from, especially not something she had made. It also took him a minute to realize that when the officer said, my kids, she probably wasn't talking about her real kids. She meant juvenile delinquents like him. So now I would like you to pause and write down actually the reason that I have just explained. The official business and the unofficial. So remember, the official business was to inform him that she didn't have any complaints, and then he would be given 2 weeks 2 weeks off from his job. And the unofficial was the present. Okay, write that down. If you need to pause the video, you can pause it. Right after that, she looked at him and she said, "Stop!" Officer Billie's hand went up as the awkward silence continued. Oh, what did he do now? What do you think he did? Why do you think she said stop? Now that's the second question. I want you to pause and then try to guess why she was telling him stop. Ready for the answer? When someone gives you a gift, it's polite to look at them in the eye and say in a clear and appreciative voice, "Thank you very much." Arthur forced his eyes upward. "Thank you very much." "You're welcome," Officer Billie replied. Now I want you to write the correct answer, the answer that the book has just given you. She pointed one of her square fingers at him. "Share it with your family and don't mess up over the next couple of weeks. A lot of people mess up over Christmas. It's a tough season. Don't let me catch you being one of them." Arthur nodded. "Okay." Officer Billie put on her cap. "Have a good evening." She put the door closed behind her with a firm, official-sounding thud. After she left, Arthur leaned against the door, still holding the caramel corn and feeling kind of shaken up. People could surprise you, he thought. Now, chapter 19. Officer Billie was right about one thing. Arthur discovered, despite having the least sweet personality of anybody he knew, she made awfully good caramel corn. So now I would like you to pause and answer. Was her caramel corn good according to him? And she was also right about another thing. Christmas was a very tough season. One bright spot was that his mom got the receptionist job. The dentist called a few days before Christmas and told her she could start in January. Yay! Now I want you to pause and answer that she got it, okay? That she got this job. Remember that she wanted this job very much because it was a full-time job and it was a lot better than the other 2 part-time jobs that she had as waitress. After his mom got off the phone with her new boss, she sat down in the kitchen floor and started crying into a dish towel because she was so happy. That's what she told Arthur when he came running into the kitchen to check if she was okay. She was crying because she was happy. Sometimes he gave up trying to figure out his mom. Christmas Day was a different story. If it had been up to Arthur, he would have pulled the covers over his head and pretended it was a regular day. But Barbara and his mom were counting on him. So when Barbara poked him in the arm at about 6 o'clock and whispered loudly in his ear that Santa had been there, he managed to say, "Good, let's see," in a fake excited voice. He followed his sister's polka dot robe downstairs. "Merry Christmas, guys!" Arthur's mom said extra cheerfully as they came into the living room. She'd put on bright pink lipstick. even though it was 6 in the morning and nobody else was around. White Christmas, that was playing on the record player. The air smelled faintly of burned cinnamon rolls. Arthur could tell his mom was trying hard to make Christmas nice for them. But it seemed strange, like they were actors in a play, or aliens on a planet that looked exactly like their own. Only it wasn't. And then the presents. What do you think his sister got? So pause this video and write it down. Try to guess what his sister got. Barbara squealed as she tore open her gift of baby dolls, paper dolls, and Barbie dolls. And more dolls than Arthur could be bothered to pay attention to. So now pause again and write down the presents that she actually got. Like all these different kinds of dolls. He'd already been warned about the gifts. How there wouldn't be many and most of them would be for Barbara. Money was still tight. He handed his mom the small gift he'd wrapped for her. Here, Mom. For me? She said, looking surprised. It's nothing, Mom, really. So now I would like you to pause and try to guess, what do you think he gave his mom? Write that down. His mom opened the tissue paper slowly. Inside, there was a small metal flower pot in the shape of a watering can. It's a flower pot, he explained, just in case she didn't get it. So now I would like you to pause and write down what he actually gave to her, which is a flower pot. I know what it is, she said, still acting surprised. But you shouldn't have spent money to buy me anything this year. Not with all that's happened. I was fine with nothing. Arthur shrugged. It's okay. It wasn't much. Because the truth was, it wasn't much. It wasn't much. It was free. It was actually free. He'd found it on the same Saturday that he'd found the mirror. It had been stuck in a trash can with a bunch of broken clay pots and garden stuff. The silver spout was what he spotted first. Once he'd managed to pull out the rest of it, Arthur knew it would make the perfect gift for his mom. She always kept a row of African violets in the kitchen windowsill. He was pretty proud of how it had turned out too. He'd glued the shaky handle back into place and polished the metal with some of his dad's chrome polish. It looked brand new. If the person who had thrown out the flower pot could see how nice it looked now, and Arthur was sure they would have kept it. Well, thank you, his mom said, squeezing his shoulders with one arm. However much it was, I love it. As it turned out, Arthur's mom surprised him with a gift too. So now I want you to pause and try to guess what she got him. Write that down. She handed him a flat box wrapped in green paper. When he opened it, he found his dad's silver dollar collection. 6 mint condition piece dollars displayed in a black frame. I saved this for you. I know your dad wanted you to have them, his mom said softly. A thick lump rose in Arthur's throat as he remembered looking at this silver coins with his dad. He'd taken them to elementary school a bunch of times for show and tell. He had written a research report about them in 3rd grade called All About Money. His dad had often said, "One day, when I'm gone, I will pass them to you." Now that Arthur had them, he didn't really want them. Not now, or ever. So now I want you to pause and write down actually what she gave to him. And I got something for you too, Arthur. Open it. Barbara flopped on the sofa next to him. For once, he was grateful to his sister for interrupting something. He shoved a roundish package covered with way more tape than paper into his hands. It's a baseball, did you guess? Did you guess? She shouted before he had the wrapping half off. Thanks, Barbara. That's really nice, Arthur said, his voice cracking only a little. He tossed the baseball in the air and caught it. It's perfect. I bought it with my own allowance money, she said proudly as Arthur's mom winked at him. I've been saving all year. Now I want you to pause and I want you to think and write down the best Christmas present you have ever had and how much it matters to you.